Pitching, including near perfection and record-setting performances. Last night against the Central Division leading Milwaukee Brewers, the offense got in on the act with 19 hits and 13 runs as San Francisco rolled in Game 1 of the series. Now, Game 2, Giants-Brewers, coming up next. Welcome to the corner of 3rd and King Street's 24 Willie Mays Plaza, which has been a happy place for the hometown team here lately. The Giants and the Brewers, Game 2 of their series. Hello, everyone. I'm John Miller with Mike Krukow and Amy Gutierrez. Welcome to San Francisco Giants baseball. The Giants have won 4 in a row on this homestand, and they've had one complete turn through the rotation, 5 games, and all 5 starters pitched extremely well.
Well, that has been the strength of this sudden surge where the Giants now, all of a sudden, they have a home field advantage. They've won 8 of their last 11. That's something that has not happened for 2 months prior. But look what's happened here, this homestand. We got a guy almost throwing a perfect game. We got another guy who sets a major league record for consecutive outs. We have another guy, a catcher, for the first time in Giants history, has 2 5-hit games in his career. I can't wait to see what happens tonight. They flipped the ball to Jake Peavy. He's on a roll. He's the guy that started out the great streak of starts. Let's hope they can keep it going.
All right, so what will they do next? We'll soon find out. The Giants and the Brewers, and we'll come back with the lineups and then the first pitch right after this. The Brewers and the Giants. The Giants have just taken the field, so we are just moments away from playing ball here for the Milwaukee Brewers. The batting order brought to you by your Northern California Lexus dealer. Carlos Gomez, the dynamic leadoff man, center field. Jonathan Lucroy leading the major leagues with 45 doubles, including 4 against the Giants in only 4 games. Having a great year. Ryan Braun, right field. Aramis Ramirez, third base. He's been hot. Scooter Gennett, second base, also hot. Chris Davis, who's hit a lot of home runs this year, is in left field. Davis has 20 home runs. Mark Reynolds at first base. He's hit 21 big flies. Gene Segura back in there at shortstop, and Mike Fiers, who has been very strong himself since replacing Matt Garza in the rotation, all up against Jake Peavy of the Giants.
Take a look at the year for Jake Peavy. 3-13 with a 4.34 ERA, and a lot of that record is explained they just haven't gotten him a whole lot of runs. Peavy, 33 years old, in his 13th year at the big league level, 128 strikeouts against 55 walks. So when you take your at-bats against him, you're going to see a low 90s fastball. He will cut, he will sink, more sinkers than cut. He's got a great changeup that has always been almost as good as getting the ground ball as the sinker has been, and curveball and a slider. And very athletic. I mean, he holds base runners on well. He fields his position well. Lifetime against these Brewers, he's 3-4, but with a very good 2.73 ERA.
So here we go. The infield is covered in the dark shadows for the late afternoon / early evening, but the backdrop is lit up in the bright sunshine. And there's a called strike on the outside corner from Peavy, and we are underway. 69 degrees, the official game time temperature. Another spectacular day here in the beautiful city of San Francisco. And there's a swinging strike, too. And you got to get an idea there of the difficulties of being a hitter right now. The visibility is not good as your eyes adjust to that bright backdrop. But you and the pitcher in the dark shadows just got a piece of that one, and that one got a piece of Buster Posey.
Well, and the problem is when you have a bad background and it affects your ability to see the ball is shadowed, and you do not pick up the spin on the ball. I mean, you'll see the ball. You won't see the spin of a slider, the spin of a breaking ball, or the non-spin of a split-finger fastball, and that's why it's tough for a hitter. And Buster Posey just wore one on the right arm. Watch the right arm right above the wrist. Bang. And that's just like getting hit by a pitch. Completely relaxed, and that's how his night starts off. Wow.
Well, he's back behind the plate now, having tried to shake it off, and here is Peavy again, and he strikes out Gomez.
I think the slider is the best pitch when you can't see spin like the conditions are right now. Let's take a look at the defense playing behind Jake Peavy tonight, starting the Giants outfield. From left to right, it'll be Blanco, Pagan, and Pence. Good arms in center and right. Crawford, Sandoval will patrol the left side of the infield. Panic and Morris on the right side, and Buster Posey would be in the squat, putting down the signs.
This is Jonathan Lucroy. Lucroy, 299, 13 homers, 45 doubles, 2 triples, 60 batted in. He hit a double into the second archway in the Willie Mays wall last night in right field. And there's ball one.
He's got a great opposite field approach. You see him hit a lot of balls between the gaps, left center and right center. Last night, 2 bullets to right field. One an extra base hit, one that got caught. But you don't see him pull a lot. Because of that, teams will give him a line in left field on defense.
That's in there. 1 ball, 1 strike, a 90-mile-an-hour fastball. Peavy has a 3.18 earned run average as a Giant in 6 starts. The Giants have not scored many runs on his behalf, and they also have often had very shaky defense behind him. And there's a swinging strike, too.
I saw Lucroy shake his head. You can't see the spin.
The umpiring alignment, Dan Asogna behind the plate with Adam Hamari at first, Quinn Wolcott at second, and the crew chief, Dale Scott, at third.
And Asogna is primarily a low ball guy. You will see some belt highs. You get more width outside to a right hand than you do a lefty, and it can move around a bit, his strike zone.
Right to Morse, an unassisted putout, 2 down. Hit sharply, but right at Morse. So now Peavy up against Ryan Braun. He wants a new baseball. Yes, people brought their special game hats.
Well, that was the giveaway gift today. Orange and black top hats. State Farm was giving them away today, and it kind of looks like Where's Waldo all the way around this ballpark. It's awesome.
And strike 1 to Braun.
Another swing through on the slider. Ball is dark when it comes in, and with the sun background, you just don't see the spin. Very frustrating for a hitter.
Braun, 277 average, 17 homers, 74 batted in. A ball and a strike. And for Braun, the home run total very low. He has had some wrist problems, and there's speculation that maybe that has slowed him down a little bit. 2 down, nobody on. On the inside with a called strike 2.
Clearly, Braun is not looking inside. Once he swung through that first slider, guys that do that, good hitters, they'll stay in that outside part of the plate thinking that pitcher's going to come out there again. He was not looking inside in that last fastball.
Going outside this time. And strike 3. 2 strikeouts in the inning. And he is 1 away from 2,000 career strikeouts. Pagan, Paddock, Posey coming up. Let's go just outside AT&T Park. The Giants batting order presented by Audi. Truth in engineering. Pagan, 3 hits last night. Center field. Joe Paddock, 4 hits last night. Second base. Buster Posey, 5 hits last night. Catcher Pablo Sandoval, 12 hits last night. Didn't
easy, big fella.
Didn't work that way for the rest of the lineup. Hunter Pence had 3 hits though, and he's got an 11-game hitting streak. 372 average during the streak. Michael Moore's first base. Gregor Blanco, who had the game's only home run last game. He's got 3 homers the last 6 games. Brandon Crawford at short, and Jake Peavy, the pitcher, against Mike Fiers.
Take a look at the numbers for Fiers. 4 starts. This is his 9th appearance, and in those 4 starts, he's pitched at least 6 innings, and he's allowed 3 hits or fewer in every one of those starts. He's been fantastic. How's he doing it? Well, he's not got a lot of velocity. He's high 80s with his velocity, but he's just not an easy guy to pick up. A high 3/4 release. He's got a cutter, a curveball, slider, changeup. The basic pitches you see. Just don't see it early.
And it's 0-1.
Similar type of a release that Josh Colmenter has with the Arizona Diamondbacks. You just don't see the guy early. I mean, you look at his fastball. It's 88 straight. How are the guys getting jammed with it? They don't see it. It's on him quick.
Pagan hitting 306. That's back to the screen. And it's 0-2.
Defensively for the Brewers, they're going to set it up this way. Starting in the outfield from left to right will be Davis, Gomez, and Bronze. Good arms at center and right. Segura and Ramirez on the left side. Jeanette and Reynolds on the right side. And Jonathan Lucroy behind the plate in the squad, putting down the signs.
That is back out of play. Still 0-2 to Pagan.
Fiers 29 years old, and he's in his 2nd year at the big league level. So he's enjoying the greatest run in his career as he's in his 6th year professionally.
He was a 22nd round draft choice out of college. A ball and 2 strikes. As a starter, he has been stupendous, and he was very good out of the bullpen before that. They put him in the rotation when Matt Garza got injured, and he's been even better than Garza so far. 2-2. The count, and I don't know that the Brewers themselves figured he was going to be this good, because if they knew he was going to be this good, they would have put him in the rotation a lot earlier in the season.
Well, yeah.
That is over the inside. Strike 3 call. Pagan did not think so. He's a little unhappy with Dan Asogna. Well away from the target of the catcher on that one.
Well, they do set the outside corner, and I mean, I don't think it's that far out of the strike zone. And Asogna is clearly a guy that is an umpire that doesn't require you to throw it between the catcher's knees to get the strike.
And the first pitch, a strike to Joe Panik. By the way, the pitch FX on the MLB app shows that pitch to Pagan was a strike over the plate, and not necessarily on the black either. Knocked down by Segura, and he has no play. Panik, who had 4 hits last night. We'll see how the official score rules on this one, but I think he's going to get a hit.
Now, last night, I mean, he just had the magic wand-do going. We're going to make it our Ford right choice. Ford, the right choice for California. Test drive one of our efficient new models today. Second 4-hit game of the season for young Joe Panik. And well, he's only today and tomorrow. That's all that's left of August. And he's not going to be happy that August is going to be leaving the calendar. He's hit .391 in the month of August. 34 or 35 for 88 now. Actually, he's hitting higher. That's a Ford right choice.
Here's Buster Posey, who had the 5-hit game last night.
Ooh, little cutter.
Called ball 1. That looked pretty good. Buster, .297 average now, leading the club with 71 runs batted in. He's the only catcher in Giants history to have had 2 5-hit games. Last night's, and he had one the year before against the Mets. Ouch. Well, this is a night that already hurts for Buster Posey.
Well, he got one off the arm. It's like getting hit by a pitch in the right arm. That can't be feeling that great. And I don't know what he tweaked here. If it was his ankle. Oh, he fouled it off his heel. The life of a catcher. He never complains.
Joe Panik, the runner at first, 1 out, no score in the game. Very high in the air to right field, but playable for Braun. And Panik will go back to first. 2 down. Well, Buster doesn't get a hit every time. He lately has been close, though. He's had, including that at bat, 19 hits in his last 40 at bats. Just under 500 average. Pablo, .285 for the year, 14 homers, 60 driven in. Sandoval, a .329 on base percentage. 2 down, Panik at first. Base hit. Panik will stop at second, and that keeps the inning going. An RBI opportunity for Hunter Pence.
Sandoval not waiting around, getting the first fastball, looking away, getting it. I mean, he's noticed that the Brewers last night pitched him away. The Rockies, the previous series, pitched him away. So he's up there looking away. And here's the key: he's not trying to pull it.
just shoots it right through the left side on a first pitch fastball challenge. And just like that, the Giants have action.
Hunter Pence, after his 3-hit game last night, is hitting .290, 18 homers, 62 batted in, .343 on base average. He also had 3 RBIs last night. He's been getting a lot more RBI opportunities in the 5th spot than hitting leadoff or second. Base hit could be in a run here. 2 on, 2 out. Ball 1.
159 hits on the year, and that ties him for the league's lead.
He and Daniel Murphy with 159 each. Denard Span of Washington 156. 22 of Pence's hits have been infield hits.
Ooh.
Back out of play.
Hey, we have a nice play. He brought his glove, got a hug. Didn't know he was going to be a hero tonight, did he? Adam played perfectly. I mean, he sweet spotted it too. Nice.
One ball, 1 strike to Hunter Pence. Panic at second, Sandoval at first. Just off the outside at 92 miles an hour. 2-1.
Velocity wise, this is a pretty good fastball for Fiers.
He's kind of been building up throughout the inning. And a soaring pop-up. Lucroy in foul ground, and the inning is over. Pence fouls out. 2 left for the Giants. Peavy back to work. No score.
The Giants starters this homestand, stellar. They've put together 37 innings. They've only given up 5 earned runs, and they have struck out 42. I talked to Ryan Vogelsong last night, asked him if they feed off of each other's starts. He says, absolutely. A guy goes before you does well, you want to do well too. But he also said, when things are going well, you need to stay aggressive and stay humble. Guys, he said, quote, we have a short way to go, but we also have a long way to go. John?
All right, Amy G. And good advice. The Giants have made 1 complete trip through the rotation here this week, Monday through Friday, and got a strong start in all 5 of them. Now Peavy, who started that stretch on Monday, back in his 2nd start of the week, and the count to the very dangerous Aramis Ramirez. 1 ball and 1 strike. Peavy went 7 And the Giants did not play well defensively behind him. 4 errors in the game. And he lost at a couple of unearned runs. Bumgarner almost had a perfect game the next day. And then Tim Hudson was outstanding on Wednesday. Yusmeiro Petit set a major league record, giving up just 1 run as he finished off a stretch where he had retired 46 consecutive hitters. And then last night, Vogelsong was excellent. And Peavy's got that slider working today. That's 3 strikeouts out of the first 4 hitters. And that strikeout, a milestone for him, his 2,000th career strikeout. So he, 3 days after Tim Hudson records his 2,000th, Peavy gets number 2,000. And he's still using that same baseball.
I think they threw it in. But he is definitely taking advantage of the sun. Right now, it is awful to play center field as we take a look as to where Jake Peavy is on the all-time rank. So Tim Hudson, Jake Peavy got a little thing going here as they climb up the ladder for career strikeouts. 2,000 says something about your stuff, though. It really does. Just want to finish that point about Angel Pagan and Carlos Gomez, the center fielders in tonight's ball game. Right now, it is a nightmare to be a center fielder.
That was the baseball, by the way, and that's the Major League Baseball authenticator. Peavy out, number 2. Jeanette retired. Well, Jake Peavy, he has not been around quite as long as Tim Hudson. He's a veteran. He's 33 years old. He's 5 years younger than Tim Hudson. 3 strikeouts already tonight, including number 2,000 lifetime. Jake Peavy this season has thrown 164 1/3 innings, and he's just over 2,100 innings in his career. So that's a lot of strikeouts for that number of innings. Just a little bit below a strikeout per inning for his entire career.
Well, he's put together a nice career. As you mentioned, this is his 13th year. Cy Young Award winner in 2007. He's been a world champion.
Dangerous hitter up here right now. Chris Davis has hit 20 home runs. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Everywhere Peavy's gone, he's always been a very good teammate as well. Bruce Bochy raised him when he brought him up in Padres organization.
2-2. And he eventually, while a Padre, won the Cy Young Award 1 year. Also has been with the White Sox in the American League. Won a World Series ring with the Red Sox last year. And now a Giant. 2-2. That's a full count.
Yeah, that pitch right there sets up a slider on the outside corner, though. And that has been a great pitch for him with this glare off the batter's eye in center field.
Pagan battling the sun out there, but makes the catch. That ball was really hammered by Chris Davis, and Pagan had a heck of a time picking it up, but he got it. Giants postseason tickets. It's easy by getting on deck right now by becoming a 2015 season ticket member. There's a $500 deposit that gives you the opportunity to purchase all the potential division series, home playoff games, and a possible wild card play-in game as well. Giants representatives are standing by at 415-972-2298 right now. 415-972-2298, or you could go to sfgiants.com/season. Check it out and get on deck. Michael Morse against Fiers. That's a big curveball in for a strike.
That is right over the top, and that's a high strike for a breaking ball. That type of break on it.
Comes back with a fastball. It's 0-2.
Saw Moore shake his head. He guessed wrong. You see a fastball go right down the middle like that. The guy take it. He's just not looking fastball. That's why he takes it.
Still a battle with the bright backdrop, and he strikes out on a high fastball. One away.
All right, time down for our Toyota by the numbers. Most hits by the Giants in a game at AT Park. Well, September 14, 2001 against the Marlins, they had 20. Last night had 19. 7 times they've hit 18. And that's your Toyota by the numbers. It's your last chance to take advantage of Labor Day deals and holiday bonus cash on select models during Toyota's annual clearance event. Hurry into your Toyota dealer today because it all ends Tuesday. Toyota, let's go places.
Gregor Blanco, 251 average, hit a home run last night. Bluffs the bunt, takes the ball. Blanco, both Wednesday and Thursday, knocked in the Giants' first runs of the game. Wednesday he did it with a safety squeeze bunt single. Then Thursday did it with a 2-run homer. On the outside corner for a strike.
Perfect location.
He had another home run last night. And going back to last Sunday in Washington, he's homered 3 times in the last 6 games. Shallow left, and Davis. So not this time for Gregor Blanco. 2 down, and Brandon Crawford will come up.
Now, generally speaking, when you start a game at 6 o'clock, you're not going to get a whole lot of offense first couple of 2-3 innings, simply because of the backstop. Still, until they start being able to see the spin on the ball, it really is an advantage for the pitcher.
Brandon Crawford, 225 average, 8 homers, 51 driven in. Out of play into the second deck, strike 1. Giants, by the way, we were talking about Blanco's home runs. The Giants as a team have homered in every game going back to August 20th. The last 10 games they've hit at least 1 home run. That changeup on the inside, and it's 0-2. Giants did some things like that early in the season. They hit a lot of home runs the first couple of months, but not so many lately. Two strikes to count. The Giants have started showing some power again after the power was largely dormant for a couple of months. 0-2 the count.
I think I saw Hector Sanchez in the Giants dugout talking to Hunter Pence. Yep, there's Hector. Good to see him again.
And he is almost surely out for the rest of the year with the concussion and the attendant symptoms. That's on the outside corner for a strike 3 call. We head to the 3rd inning. No score. score at AT&T Park. Now here's the Brewers' 7th place hitter, Mark Reynolds, to lead off against Jake Peavy. Reynolds, a powerful right-handed hitter. Brewers have not yet had a base runner against Jake. Reynolds, Segura, and Fires coming up. 21 home runs for Mark Reynolds. And it's 0-1. He's got enormous power, but he also strikes out a lot and has had a hard time doing anything but hitting a home run. He has 9 doubles and only a .200 batting average, .276 on base average. And it's 0-2.
Well, 3 times in his career, he struck out over 200 times. And that's a guy that doesn't make 2-strike adjustments, is what that is. He's swinging for one thing. He's swinging for the bleachers on every swing.
Ooh, that one kind of hung up there over the middle, and he found it back out of play.
He hits them, they stay hit. His batting practice is as good as anybody's I've ever seen. He just flips them out, and he makes it look easy. He just has never been able to take away the swing and miss. That has plagued him his whole career. But very dangerous.
That's all for Mark Reynolds. Jake Peavy gets his 4th strikeout.
All right, here's our Mazda speed pitch. Conviction, creativity, courage. This is the Mazda way. That's a 91-mile-an-hour fastball, 2-seam grip, outside corner. Grab some pine meat. That's our Mazda speed pitch.
Now Segura against Peavy. Peavy's next strikeout will tie him with Tim Hudson on the all-time list. 0-1. Well, whenever we see that shot from behind the plate, you kind of get the idea of what the batter is seeing, and the visibility is just not good right now. And you pointed it out several times, Mike. They count 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, hitters will say, we can't see the ball. And that not literally, but you just can't see the spin on the ball, and that's what they complain about. And I don't blame them. It's tough to hit if you can't see the spin.
The bunt goes foul.
But you are seeing the ball, and it's almost like it's shadowed. It's dark, and that's the reason you don't see the spin. The lights are going to take a while before they take effect, and until then, it's going to be advantage pitcher.
The panoramic view there, the scoreboard all lit up in the bright sun still. And that is another strikeout. He struck out 5 of the first 8. 2 down. Now, Giants baseball brought to you in part by McDonald's. Download the McD app on your smartphone for great deals on the food you love at participating McDonald's. The McD app. Download it now.
Okay, I'm doing it.
It's an app. You thought you had all the apps? No. Come on. 0-1 the count, 2 fires.
Notice that Buster Posey has put a sleeve on his right arm. That's the arm that was hit with a foul ball back in the first inning. So I'm sure that is not a very comfortable feeling. He has to put a sleeve on it.
Is that like a compression type thing?
Exactly. And the whole idea behind the sleeve is that it takes away some of the sore spot and just sort of spreads it out a little bit, so it's not as intense in one spot.
Another strikeout for Peavy. 6 strikeouts the first time through the lineup, and he strikes out the side here in the 3rd. No score here. The Giants and the Brewers at AT&T Park. And here's the Ram gutsy play. Ram 1500 is Motor Trend's 2014 Truck of the Year and first ever back-to-back champion. Ryan Vogelsong last night leading off the second against Willie Peralta. He got one right under his chin, and then later on the 9th pitch of the sequence he drilled a single down the right field line. And that had to be no small measure of satisfaction for Ryan Vogelsong.
It's the best at bat he ever had. 7 strong innings, couple of earned runs allowed, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts, all that in just 96 pitches. Nice night.
Now you see him sitting here tonight. It's good to be a starting pitcher.
Yeah, it is when you win. It absolutely is. That night after, that is a night off mentally. You are at peace with the world. Woohoo!
Man, this is a good seat to watch this game, you know what?
Bubblegum tastes good. I'm a happy boy.
I won't be going in, of course, but
yeah, not me. No, I got my rubber shoes on.
Well, he did look good at the plate and on the mound last night, that's for sure.
Just painting the corners, going up on top of the strike zone, changing the sight line. And I think the elevator, the high fastball was really a good pitch for him last night. And picked up his changeup as the game wore on, and he really was able to locate that changeup, and the end result, 7 strikeouts and a win.
He had strikeouts of each of the last 3 hitters he faced. It was really as if his strongest inning was his very last inning of the night. So here is tonight's Giants starter, Jake Peavy. He is 0 for 13 with the bat as a Giant with 8 strikeouts. Mike Fiers. He kept the Giants without a hit in the second inning. The Giants have been getting a lot of hits lately. In fact, they'd had a stretch where they'd had at least 1 hit in 12 consecutive innings for the first time all year. 0-2 to Peavy. It's been a couple of years since they had a longer stretch than that. The Giants scored 13 runs last night with only 1 home run. Mostly a very large collection of singles, couple of doubles, couple of triples. As Peavy is called out on strikes, 4 strikeouts for Fiers.
Well, that's 18 hitters that have taken at bats tonight, and 10 of them have struck out. And just 2 of them have struck out on a called strike 3. 8 swing and miss strike 3s between 2 pitchers. It just gives you an idea of how tough it is to see.
Now Pagan, who led off the first inning for the Giants, and he was called out on strikes. And he was not happy about it. Right up the first baseline foul, right past Roberto Kelly. Strike 1. Day game here tomorrow. The final game of the homestand for the Giants. As Madison Bumgarner will go against Kyle Loesch. Loesch is a 12-game winner. Then the Giants go to Colorado. And they're going to play the resumption of that suspended game from back in May on Monday, and then the regularly scheduled game on Monday. Up the middle, base hit. One out single for Pagan. Joe Panik, he singled his first time after a 4-hit game last night. He was 4 for 6 last night and has 6 hits in his last 8 at bats overall. Joe Panik now hitting .316 in his rookie season. 158 at bats now. And he got that hole to shoot at on the right side with Reynolds on the bag with Pagan. Called a strike.
Well, there's the hole you're talking about. It's the beauty. If you're a left-handed hitter and you have a first baseman holding on a runner, you've got an opportunity if you have good bat control, and Joe Panik does. I've seen him find that hole often. As you mentioned, he has had great August with the bat.
That'll go back out of play. Strike two. This is in the San Francisco Giants history, not including their time in New York. But for a second baseman 23 years old or younger, it's a short list. Just Joe Panik and Hal Lanier with 2 or more 4-hit games of the season. Lanier had 3 of those back in '64, 50 years ago. Pagan back to the bag. He's had 13 steals this year, second of the club. The Brewers with a 1.5 game lead over the Cardinals at the start of the day. The Cardinals already lost 1 game of their doubleheader with the Cubs, and they're tied in the second game at Busch Stadium in the last of the 5th inning. Now finally time is granted. Fires comes set, and then he stays set for a long time.
Well, you do that, you're asking for what just happened. And no pitcher likes a start-stop. They just don't. But when you hold a runner as long as he does, and then you're asking for what he got. And really that's his best philosophy in holding runners, just to come set and hold for a long time. It's not particularly quick out of the stretch.
Off the outside. Good eye there by Panik. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Buster Posey on deck. Straight away in the outfield and pretty much in the infield as well, except for Reynolds, who's on the bag at first with Pagan. The wind out there in right field, it indicates, the flags indicate the wind blowing out toward left. And Pagan back to the bag. However, the flags up on top of the scoreboard in straightaway center show the wind up at that altitude blowing out towards center field. There you see.
Well, I think there's carry that way in the field. I just don't think there's much to right field. It's kind of like the normal night. But I mean, this is the one time of year that you start to see different winds than you've seen for most of the summer.
Hits the mound behind second. A lot of action at second, and they get the 1 out and no more. Looked like half the players on the field were all converging at second base there at one point.
All right, time for our BMW Drive, the ultimate driving machine at BayAreaBMW.com. Last night, Buster Posey became the first catcher in Giants history to record a 5-hit game. Now, he's got 2 of them in his career, and no catcher has ever done that. And I tell you, the thing about Posey that is so beautiful to watch is how deep he lets that ball get in on him, using the whole field from line to line.
The 5-hit game he had last year against the Mets, that was a 16-inning game, by the way. Last night he had 5 hits and only played 6 innings. Bruce Bochy said he feels kind of bad he didn't let Buster stay in and take a shot at 6. How many times do you have a chance to get 6 hits in a game? But he said Buster wouldn't even think about it. He said Buster just said, no, I need the time off. That's the perfect thing.
Yeah, for a catcher.
Posey hit a fly ball to right field, his first at bat tonight. Panik on the force out, now at first base. 2 down in the inning.
And the 2 5-hit games, and he really is still a young player. But he's the type of guy that could do that just because of the type of swing that he has and the mindset that he has. He doesn't think about what he's accomplished in the night. He thinks about each at bat, putting a good swing on a good pitch, getting something to hit.
Aramis Ramirez near third base. And Posey pops out. The Giants are retired, and we head to the fourth inning. Still 0-0. Top of the order coming up for Milwaukee.
Check out NBC Bay Area Investigative Unit, led by Chief Investigative Reporter Tony Kowaleski. They're an award-winning team of 15 journalists dedicated to holding the powerful accountable. The Investigative Unit on NBC Bay Area, we investigate. See, they're investigating that drag right there.
So they're investigating everything.
Everything. You know, I want to finish that point about Buster Posey, though, as to why he has the type of mindset that will allow him to get 5 hits in a game.
Carlos Gomez leads off here against Jake Peavy. Gomez struck out his first time. Ball 1.
I think it's a sign of mental toughness. I really do, because, you know, there are hitters, you know, if they'll have a night where they get 3 hits, and they kind of take mentally, they just kind of they go off. It's almost like 3 hits is enough. Whoa, look out.
No swing on that one. And Peavy thought that maybe he did swing, but Adam Hamari said no.
Played with Pete Rose in 1982, and you know, he had that type of mindset too. As you see this little heat seeker, that really wasn't that close. He swung at it. I think he swung at it. Did he swing at it? Did you see he swung at it?
Next time, ask me. I saw it. 2-1.
But there are certain hitters that will have a couple home runs and hit, and that's mentally that's enough, and they don't have the same intensity in that 4th or 5th at bat that they had the first 3. But with Posey, you know, he doesn't look at it at bat like enough's enough. You know, he wants to look at a pitcher. He wants to look for a pitch. He wants to put a swing on a pitch. He wants to hit the situation. And because he's in the game that way, and the way he has set it up mentally, he can have those 4 for 4 nights, 5 for 5 nights. The bottom line is he's mentally tough as a hitter, and that's a compliment.
Did he swing? No, again.
Let's take a look. Did he swing? Adam Hamari at first base says no. That could have gone either way. That's a 50-50 one right there.
And it's a walk. Carlos Gomez becomes the Brewers' first base runner. And he's been a much more patient-looking hitter in the few games the Giants have faced the Brewers this year than they remember in the past. He did come into this game with a .346 on base percentage, which that's a little higher than normal for him. So here is Lucroy. Now you got to be a little concerned about keeping him over there. He has 29 steals this season. That is 4th most among all the base stealers in the National League. D. Gordon of the Dodgers, 58 steals. Billy Hamilton of the Reds, 53. And then Ben Revere of the Phillies, 39. Gomez, 29. Number 4 on that list. And it's kind of a game where a steal could be a big play right here with Lucroy. Maybe the Brewers' best hitter right now at the plate. You got Lucroy, then Braun, then Ramirez. They're 3 best hitters coming up in a row. So we'll see how they play. Some managers might say, hey, this is a little too risky to risk him being out. So let's have him stay put. Well, we'll see the way Ron Renicky feels about it. There he goes. The tag. He's out. And he said he wants an appeal. He was sure that he was safe. Saw him signal in there to his manager, Ron Renicky.
Well, Renicky's coming out. Doesn't look like his heart's in it, though. It's a remarkable throw from Posey. I mean, all Crawford had to do was catch a drop, and it was right there.
Jerry Narron, the bench coach.
One hop, nice quick release, and look at the strike. He's out.
Did look like he was out right there.
One more look.
Yeah.
See you later.
And Renicky is not going to ask. That's the word he got from Jerry Narron from the Milwaukee video room adjacent to the clubhouse. It was beginning to look to me like he had a very big jump. And Buster did make a spectacular throw quickly and accurately with something on it.
Well, Peavy helped himself too. He was 1.14 seconds of unload time, very quick to Buster Posey. And it absolutely had to be perfect, because you're right, he did have a good jump. But when you have a pitcher who's going 1.14 seconds, now the average unload time is 1.25 seconds from the time he starts his motion, from the time that ball gets to the catcher. And you have a catcher like Posey who's 1.82 to 1.9 consistently. You add them together and you're going to be right around 3 seconds. There are not many base runners that are going to steal if a pitcher and a catcher can get it down to second base in 3 seconds.
2-2 the count to Lucroy. And that's the flip side to the whole stolen base thing, right? Because you have your best hitters up right now. And instead of a runner at first that could be knocked in by the guy who leads the major leagues in doubles, you have nobody on. That's all for Lucroy. 7 strikeouts for Peavy in 3 2/3 innings.
Well, Labor Day sale, save 50%. Get MLB.com at Bat Premium features for only $4.99. Follow every Giants game with live look-ins, replay reviews, live radio broadcast, the MLB TV game of the day, and more. Download on the App Store. Sell in soon. Go to sfgiants.com/mobile today. He just lowered his arm angle just a little bit, flattened out that break, ran it wide, and he got Lucroy to chase. Nicely done.
7 strikeouts and all swinging third strikes.
And I'll bet just about every one of the swings have been on sliders. But, you know, that's what you do. If you have a backdrop where it's tough to see and hitters see the silhouette of the ball and they can't pick the spin up, slider's your best friend.
That's a called strike. Braun struck out swinging his first time. 2 down, nobody on. Right off the end of the bat, it stays fair. The inning is over. Michael Morse with the unassisted putout. 4 no-hit innings in for Peavy. Pablo, Pence, and Morse coming up.
lot of fun moments on our broadcast, and last night we got one and we wanted to share it with you. Joe Panik scored the first run of the game, came into the dugout, slapped high fives with the guys, but he missed Michael Morse. So Morse, well, he gave himself a high five, and I talked with both of them today. Joe felt really bad about it. He didn't even realize that he had missed Michael, and Michael said, hey, it happens all the time. Bruce Bochy added on that he loves managing guys with a sense of humor. He said the game is tough enough. If you're able to laugh at yourself, you're going to be a much better player, guys.
That was a good catch right there.
Left him hanging.
To see some guys, they miss out on the high five. Not Morris. He got one.
Oh, yeah. There's the one. A little late getting it up there, but I got it. We're good.
He took care of himself. 2-0 to Pablo Sandoval. He singled to left field his first time against Mike Fiers. Giants had 3 hits in the game. Fiers, in his first 4 starts, had not allowed more than 3 hits in any of those games. 28 innings pitched before tonight as a starter, 10 hits allowed. That's how strong he's been. It's 2-1 to Pablo. See the wind rustling the pant legs of Mike Fiers. There's a pretty good breeze blowing through the infield right now. You've got the loose fitting pants. Two and 1 the count. Right back to the screen. 2-2. Looking at the flags out in right center field. And the flag court out there. They're blowing out toward McCovey Cove now. They were blowing out toward left earlier. So maybe if he hits one in that direction, he'll get a push. A little bit of an assist. 2-2 to Pablo. Fiers taking forever. Now throws. Another hit to left field toward the line. Davis over to cut it off, and Sandoval will hold with a single. Good work by Chris Davis to keep him to 1.
Well, it's good to see. I mean, he's really adjusting as to how the Brewers have pitched him. They're just laying balls on the outside part of the plate, and he's been trying to pull them, but not tonight. Second time he stayed inside it and just shot it right to left. Beautiful. Now it's up to the Brewers to adjust back. And on the game goes. But right now, Pablo Sandoval has covered the outside pitch beautifully.
4th hit for the Giants in the first 4 innings. Here is Hunter Pence, who fouled out to the catcher his first time. Strike 1.
A little cutter. Cut fastball doesn't have to do much to be effective. We're talking 4-inch break. It doesn't even have to have tilt to it. It can run flat and still be effective.
Pablo a short lead from first. Just a bit outside. Fiers thought he had it. 1 ball, 1 strike. Hunter Pence got both pant legs rolled up above his knees. Says he feels like he can run faster that way. Off the inside this time. 2-1.
So he's trying to shave the corners, and Pence, to his credit, is laying off those teasers.
Michael Morse on deck. Giants no runs, 4 hits. The Brewers no runs, no hits. We're in the last of the 4th inning. Nobody out. Pablo, the first Giants leadoff hitter in an inning to reach base in this game. He's back to the bag on that pickoff throw.
It's the beauty of strike 1. You get strike 1, you get 2 pitches to try and go to a corner and have a guy chase. And Fiers has made those corner pitches, but Pence is laid off. So now the 2-1 count, you should get a better pitch to hit.
Fiers taking forever.
Well, he shook off a slider, shook off a fastball in, fastball out, shook off a curveball, finally settled on a changeup. And there it was.
Back out of play. 2-2.
You're just not doing your team a favor. Your team on defense playing behind you a favor when you're so deliberate and slow on the mound, especially this time of year. Especially after last night's ball game, where that defense for the Brewers is on the field a long time.
Yeah, the Giants were up most of the time last night. 2-2 the count. Base hit. Hunter Pence stayed in there in that curveball, and he hit it hard right past Aramis Ramirez. 2 men on. Giants baseball is brought to you in part by the Dodge Challenger. Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today.
Well, he saw that curveball well and really had nice back leg into it. I mean, the curveball is not a normal curveball that you see from Fiers because of the high 3/4 release. It's a 12-6 drop. It's straight off the table. Pence not fooled.
Michael Morse struck out his first time. Pablo at second. Pence at first. Nobody out. Out to the big part of the yard. Gomez on the run. No! It stays in play. Pablo around third, heading home. Pence right behind him. Here comes a throw. 1, 2, 3. A 2-run double for Morse.
Oh, man. Hunter Pence almost caught Pablo Sandoval. Fastball inside outside, finds the gap in right center. We've seen him do it the whole homestand. He backspins it right over the head of Carlos Gomez. And here's where the Giants catch a break. It short hops the wall, stays in. And despite a beautiful relay, here they come. And look at Pence right on the heels. That's exciting.
Michael Morse giving himself a high five again.
Well, he earned it.
So here is Blanco. Some big time excitement there. Pablo went back towards second. Almost like he assumed that Gomez might catch it, and he was not even halfway. But Pence was off and running. Still nobody out. So Blanco trying to move Morse along here. He drives one into center field. Morse goes back to tag up at the warning track to catch. And he's going to heave one all the way through. Not in time.
So a productive out from Gregor Blanco. Let's take a look at the foot race one more time between Sandoval and Hunter Pence. And he could, I bet he was 15 feet from him when they finally got to home plate. And that is fun.
And I'm glad Pablo didn't decide to slide. Michael Morse crushing one. I think his ball easily a home run in Milwaukee or a lot of other ballparks. So now Brandon Crawford with the infield in, trying to get Morse home from third for the third run of the inning.
Mike Fiers starting to get a little frustrated. He's asking where that pitch was. Umpires hate it when you stand out there and mimic. Was it low? Was it outside? Where was it? In their mind, you're showing them up. It wasn't a bad pitch, and we have seen a call a strike tonight. But you can sense a bit of frustration with Fiers.
Pulled foul. A ball on the strike.
In a row. Steven Stock, our ball due to first base. E10. George Meyer over at third base tonight. George get 2 days of it, huh?
He went to ball dude camp and everything. He's well trained. Down the right field line, base hit. Crawford delivers. Morse in to score. 3-0 Giants.
Myers takes a walk around the mound, very, very upset. A strikeout situation, and he lost a big strike in that at bat, not getting the pitch called. And then he just a series of 3 straight changeups, and finally Crawford adjusts to it and cashes in with a nice single to right.
And a nice moment for Brandon Crawford, who's been struggling at the plate. Big RBI there. Pence showing bunt, and the curveball in for a strike. He pulled the bat back at the last moment. What did I say?
Pence.
Pence. PV. One of the guys whose last name starts with a P.
One of the killer P's.
Jake Peavy, who struck out looking his first time, looking to bunt this time. Already squared around. And it goes foul. Strike 2, another curveball. Padres on the out-of-town scoreboard leading the Dodgers 1-0 in the top of the 6th inning down at Petco Park. Ian Kennedy knocked in the only run of that game with a long double to center. And Kennedy has a 1-hit shutout going against the Dodgers with 1 out in the 6th inning. There goes the runner. Throwing the dirt, and too late.
I think Segura missed the tag. Segura set up to drop the tag on the inside part of the bag, the third base side. And Crawford took an outside route. One hopper, his glove raises up to catch the one hopper, a little window of opportunity, and Crawford finds it. Players are thinking that this should be reviewed.
Well, he went for the back foot, and the front foot was on the bag. He went for the foot that was tucked under the front foot. Jerry Narron is asking the video room.
So no go.
And Renicky wanted some help from Segura, and Segura was kind of giving him,
No.
And that's all for Jake Peavy.
That's still a base there. I did not see that coming from Crawford. That's his 4th of the year. We talked about Fiers is not the quickest guy out of the stretch. I think Giants are going to try and take advantage of that, and clearly that's what Crawford did. And I think he surprised the Brewers.
Five strikeouts for Fiers now. We're in the 4th inning. The Giants have put 3 on the board, and there's another runner out there. Crawford at second, and here's Pagan to try and pick him up. Pagan hit a single to center field in the 3rd inning. So Peavy couldn't bunt him over, but Brandon Crawford did get himself over to second base with the steal. Pagan hitting .307 for the season, .347 on base average. And that's a little bit off the inside. 1 ball, no strikes. Giants have 7 hits against Fiers already as he's working in the 4th inning. 4 in this inning, and they've really been able to bunch together some hits in this series. They did it several times last night. They had 3 different innings with 4 hits or more. Called a strike on the outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. And that's outside. 2 balls and a strike. It's been a difficult inning for Fiers. This next pitch will be his 24th of the inning.
And if you're thinking about the arms in the outfield, Carlos Gomez in center has a good one. Braun in right has a good one. Davis in left does not have a good one. He's got a little bit better than average speed with Crawford, but with 2 outs, he's going to get a good jump.
And that curveball drops in there. 2-2.
That's one you just don't see very often. It kind of freezes a lot of guys because it starts so high initially.
Two and 2 to Pagan. Joe Panik on deck, hoping to bat in the inning. Crawford with a big lead at second. Back to the screen, fighting it off to stay alive. Cardinals are going ahead of the Cubs in the second game of the doubleheader in St. Louis. 4-1 now at the end of 6. Matt Holliday with a big home run for St. Louis in that one. The Cubs won the first game. At the moment, the Giants have a 1-game lead for the first wild card spot in the National League wild card division. Of course, the Giants only 3 out in the loss column behind the Dodgers at the start of the day. 2-2 to Pagan. Fires very deliberate, very slow. And the curve strikes him out swinging. The Giants get 3 runs, though. 2 of them on this spectacular double by Michael Morse. And 2 runners scoring almost at the same time. On to the 5th. However, you can own a piece of Candlestick Park. The orange and red historic seats are on sale for $749 per pair. And for a limited time, seats autographed by Candlestick Park legends are available, including Mays McCovey, Montana Young, Rice, and more. Get all the information at sfgiants.com/candlestick memories. 0-1 the count to Aramis Ramirez. Struck out his first time.
Pitch number 51 for Peavy as he starts the 5th inning. Pitch count is very, very good tonight for Peavy through the first 4. If at the end of the 4th inning you have 60 pitches or less, you're doing well. So you get an idea as to where he's at as he starts the 5th inning here with 52 pitches.
On the corner. One ball and 2 strikes now.
Think about Ramirez. Aramis Ramirez is a guy who's always been aggressive away. He looks middle away, and he will chase off the plate away. But he has been an RBI machine throughout his career. Clutch hitter. Yeah, I mean, everywhere he's been. Pirates, Cubs, now the Brewers. A very big run contributor.
Crawford, this is a long throw. He gets it there in time.
Wow.
That play looked impossible.
And he's had a tender shoulder. Not on this one. And when we talk about momentum going towards the foul line, and he still comes right over the top, which is the only way you can make that play, and throws a bullet right to Morse. And the 6'5" first baseman puts it away. And Peavy got lit up on that play. He was screaming at Crawford. That's a great exchange.
Scooter Gennett, ball one.
One more time, and you have to go high with the release. Off the right foot. That is defensive brilliance right there, folks.
Not everybody has the arm to do that play, much less the ability. A lot of guys who have that ability, but not that many had that arm.
I'll bet out of 30 big league shortstops, maybe 8 can do that.
Scooter Gennett hit one back to the pitcher his first time. And there's strike two.
But I love what Peavy did. I mean, he really got way off the mound towards second base. And when the ball was being thrown around the infield, he finally got it back. He looked at Crawford and started yelling at him. It's great. I mean, he gets pumped up. Very emotional on the mound. Always has a dialogue going with himself. Very intense. And the hitters and players behind him love it.
Pence out into the big part of the yard. Plenty of room there. 2 down. Gennett is retired.
Well, for comprehensive coverage of everything orange and black, check out pregame and postgame live before and after every Giants telecast on Comcast Sportsnet, authentic Bay Area sports.
Wow, it's a beautiful yacht.
The cast plan from Flagstaff, Arizona. How about that?
Just sailed into the cove out there. You think it sailed in from Flagstaff?
Well, that's what it says.
Here's Chris Davis, who flied out deep to center.
Caspian. I thought that was an L. Caspian. Beautiful boat.
Yeah. We're available for a ride.
Just let us know.
0-1 the count to Chris Davis. 2 down, nobody on, 5th inning. Yes, it's a little bit slow right now. But,
he's working the goose, too.
Where's everybody? Everybody's inside watching the game on TV.
Except this guy. He's got the job.
But that does look pretty good.
And the guy's back there, got the gray goose going, having a schmag on the phone.
That is a professional looking cookout gear there.
Yeah, that's the big leagues.
That's not the same one you've got in your backyard, I noticed.
No, that's a good one right there.
3-1 the count. Off the end of the bat, though. And Pagan. That's the inning. Chris Davis is going to hit a couple of deep drives to center field. Panic, Posey, Pablo coming up. Save of the game brought to you by Foxit, providers of fast, affordable, and secure PDF solutions. On Thursday, Yusmeiro Petit set the major league record when he recorded his 46th consecutive out. 46 consecutive batters retired. That's a major league record. He struck out Charlie Culberson. It was the 8th straight hitter that he had retired in that game, and that got him the record. Nobody in the history of Major League Baseball had ever retired that many consecutive hitters before. Felicitaciones para Yusmeiro Petit, who's on quite a roll right now. Big curveball in there for a strike to Joe Panic from Mike Fiers. In fact, I asked Bruce Bochy, based on the scouting reports, how Fiers had been pitching so well lately. And he compared him a little bit to Petit. Said he was throwing strikes, getting ahead of the hitters. Doesn't overpower you in particular, but variety of pitches.
And he has deception. It's so important, especially if you're a strike thrower. Ooh, that just missed. I mean, I think he's more like Josh Colemanter because of the height of his release. Colemanter's right over the top. This guy Fiers is not quite as high as Colemanter, but he's a high release. And you don't see him. He drops back, and now he comes over the top, and that gets on you quick.
But he wasn't saying physically reminded him of Petit. He was just saying changing his pitches and getting ahead of the hitters and having excellent control and that sort of thing.
Well, he's a finesse guy like Petit, no doubt. And Petit is a little funky because of his short arm release. That's a delivery most guys don't see. Very quick arm action.
Right back to Fiers. And Joe Panic is now 1 for 3. He singled his first time. Oh, congratulations. May you live long and prosper.
Best wishes to the bride.
Is that the groom right there with the big boutonniere? Must be.
Yeah, he's got the dazed look on him. You can tell the groom.
What just happened?
It's all happening so fast. What a great idea, though, on the bay. Very cool.
Well, it's a regular stop, I think, on any bay cruise, especially when the Giants are home and having a game at night. That's the Cabernet Sauvignon bay cruiser. 1 ball and no strikes to Buster Posey. He's flied out to right and popped up to third. 0 for 2 against Fiers. Now that's pretty impressive for Fiers to get Buster to get to an 0 for 2. Buster been getting hit after hit here lately.
He's not picking him up. And it's the unusual release. It's confused him a bit.
2-1.
I mean, that's the beauty. You don't have to be a blazer. You don't have to throw 99 miles an hour. You can throw strikes on both sides of the plate, have a little funkiness to your delivery, and have 3 speeds. You can do well up here. That's easier said than done, but it does explain why guys can survive up here with fastballs that are under the average fastball in velocity. But I like that look from behind home because you get an idea of how hard it is to pick up off of Fiers.
And he threw him a changeup on a 3-1 count. Strike 2.
He's just not seeing him. And as you point out, it hasn't happened very often to Buster Posey lately. Like about the last 8 weeks.
Medium deep center. Plenty of room for Gomez. 2 down.
Buster Posey got hit with a foul ball off his right arm. That's how it started. This is the first inning. Bang. And he came back out the next inning and he put a sleeve on his arm. Then in a bat, his first AB, he hits one off his left heel. So, I mean, he's kind of been getting dinged tonight.
Seeing that play, it almost looked like it hit off his back leg near his knee and then off his left heel. Got 2 for 1 in terms of dings on that last one.
Yeah, just get back to the dugout, strap it on.
Pablo Sandoval's hit 2 singles to left. That one cuts off the inside. 2-0.
Pablo has had no problem seeing fires tonight. 2 nice opposite field base hit. Clean line drives out fastballs away. And they're softballing him now. Curveballs and changeups.
Segura gets to it. He was shaded toward the middle. And the Giants go down in order against Fires. Giants are leading 3-0 as we head to the 6th inning. Jake Peavy back to the mound.
Giants games, fans are likely going to see Joe Panic hitting in that 2 spot more often because skipper Bruce Bochy likes him there. It says it stretches out his lineup. It gives him a chance to break up his lefties. Guys, you know who else likes hitting there? Joe Panic. He told me last night it's fun hitting in front of Buster Posey. He said, I'm not going to lie, I get to see better pitches. Buster Posey as a batter, Joe Panic said, unbelievable, one of the best.
All right, well, some good insight there. Thanks, Amy G. As Mark Reynolds takes a strike from Jake Peavy. Peavy has not yet allowed a hit in this game. Reynolds struck out in the 3rd. He's 0 for 1. 3-0 Giants. And that's a ball in the dirt. You remember the year 2001? Rich Aurelia, who'd hit 6th, 7th, 8th in his career. All of a sudden he hit 2nd that year. And hitting 3rd was Barry Bonds. And Aurelia hit 320 and hit 37 home runs. Had by far the greatest year of his career. Soaring fly ball into center. Pagan. One away. We were talking about Buster Posey getting banged up earlier in this game. Watch this foul ball. Watch his back knee. And then the left heel.
So double thud. So his forearm on his right arm, his right knee, and his left heel.
Ouch. Ouch. That's not good. Twice in the same one.
No. You're wondering what's going on when you get 3 dings in the before the 5th inning.
Called strike 1 to Segura. We're in the 6th inning. No runs, no hits for the Brewers against Peavy. Peavy had that game in New York not so long ago where he had a perfect game going with 1 out in the 7th inning. That's the deepest he's ever gone in his career without allowing a hit. Strike 2 call.
He's got a good flow going right now.
Fires, the pitcher, is on deck. Dodgers and Padres meanwhile 1-1. Top of the 7th in San Diego. Adrian Gonzalez hit a home run for LA to tie that game. 1-2. Giants got 3 runs in the 4th inning. Morse knocked in 2 with a double, and Crawford knocked Morse in with a single. Giants play in the outfield pretty much straight away for Segura, who struck out his first time. Bends him back a little bit. 2-2.
Went down and away in the dirt, went up and in above the hands. So those 2 pitches were Peavy's. Now he's got to get a little closer to that strike zone on the 2-2 pitch.
Oh, that one got away.
Now they wanted to change up on the outside corner. He wanted to try and backdoor that, but you're right, it got away. So Peavy going to go out and have a little word with himself. Lick the fingers. Restrap his game face on. And get ready to throw the 3-2 pitch.
Segura, who had an excellent year last year for the Brewers, struggled this year. And he gets a walk. Second walk allowed by Peavy, the second base runner of the game for the Brewers. Giants baseball is brought to you in part by Toyota. Don't miss your last chance for Labor Day deals during Toyota's annual clearance event. Get $1,000 holiday bonus cash on Camry, Prius, RAV4, and Corolla. Hurry, it all ends Tuesday. Toyota, let's go places. Here's Mike Fiers, the pitcher. Ball 1.
Yeah, that's ball 5, really, when you think about it. He had an 0-2 count to Segura and then walked him. That'll rattle your cage a little bit. You just need to get back on there and just get your focus back.
Ed Cedar, the third base coach, flashing some signs for Fiers. Fiers struck out his first time, and he's had 1 hit in 12 at-bats and 7 strikeouts in those 12 at-bats. Pablo playing very shallow at third, expecting the bunt. And the foul ball strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Pirates won again today, 3-2 over the Reds in Pittsburgh. Pirates have won 4 in a row. Jake Peavy wanted to go to second, thought better of it, panic covering at first, gets the put out, and Segura is now in scoring position.
Well, you put yourself in position to look at the out at second base, and it just gives you an idea of how aggressive Peavy is. I mean, he was really going to try and make something out of nothing there, but with 3-0 lead, we take the out. Now you're 1 out from ending the inning. Get the sure thing, and he does.
So 2 down, Carlos Gomez. The Brewers, for the first time in the game, have a runner at second base. That's how dominant Peavy has been. It's only the second runner they've had at all. The other one was Gomez, who walked in the 4th inning, and then he got thrown out trying to steal second. A foul, out of play. Off to the right, strike 1. Day game tomorrow, 1:05. The final game of the homestand for the Giants. Madison Bumgarner will be going for his 16th win.
Watch the swing of Gomez as his hands separate. That does not feel good on a hitter. But it gives you an idea of just how he holds the bat. Really jams both hands down on that knob. Just a very, very light grip. And it is an unusual feeling when you lose any hand, especially your bottom hand in the swing.
A runner in scoring position here for the Brewers with 2 down. And Buster Posey had to scoot over there quickly to get in front of that one, way off the outside. 2-1.
Up until now, he really hasn't had to work too hard in any one inning. Next pitch will be number 80.
This upcoming pitch will be his 15th of this inning. 2-1 the count. Dangerous hitter at the plate. Way outside again.
Now here's where you have to take advantage of the 3-0 lead. You don't want to keep creating an opportunity with the base on balls. When you have to get in that strike zone and you can't walk, well, if you're Peavy, you think knee-high location because that's where his movement is. That's where he can get a ball put on the ground. But he's got to get in the strike zone here.
He did walk him.
And that's a mistake.
That brings up Lucroy, who right now is the Brewers' hottest hitter, and he is the possible tying run. Lucroy in this game is grounded out to first and struck out.
And this basically has been a rally for Frey with the 2 walks.
Lucroy only had a little bit of experience against Peavy before tonight, but it was all unpleasant for Peavy. Lucroy was 4 for 5 with a homer and 2 doubles in the past against him. 0-1.
Well, what that tells you is he sees the ball out of his hand well. So a guy like that, you really have to concentrate on good location when you have to pitch to him. Now with 2 outs, you do have an open third base, but with Braun on deck, you don't want to walk and nibble here. You need to get after this guy. You need to be aggressive. But good location is your intent here. Plus, with an 0-1 count, you could think corner for the next 2 pitches.
These are the Brewers' run producers up right now. Out of play, strike 2. Almost looked like Segura was trying to be a distraction to Peavy. He got a gigantic lead away from second base just before Peavy threw that pitch. 2 down, 2 men on. The Brewers with a threat here in the 6th. And the crowd rises to the occasion now.
They're feeling it.
Right to Crawford. Panic covering. The force out of the inning is over. Gomez really hustling to the bag. Jake Peavy has 6 no-hit innings in the books. And you see the ovation from the fans as he heads back in. Now the Modelo break of the game brought to you by Modelo Especial. Discover the Especial. Manny Pacquiao visited AT&T Park yesterday. Took a little BP, and Angel Pagan, who himself Did some boxing when he was younger. Gave him some tips. And Pacquiao and Algieri, with whom he's going to have the welterweight world championship bout on November 22nd in China. The two of them threw out the ceremonial first pitches.
Yeah, Chris Algieri actually had a pretty good swing. Man, he needs a little BP.
He did give Pagan some tips on his boxing. When he found out that he did some boxing when he was younger, he said, "Well, show me your stuff. Show me your style. Show me your best moves."
Well, I'm certainly not going to be the guy that tells Manny Pacquiao he can't hit.
You know, Mike over there, that guy, the tall guy over there, said you can't hit it a lick.
Well, it's pretty amazing. If you look at Manny Pacquiao on Wikipedia, I mean, the guy he's cut out or CDs, he's a rapper, he's an actor, he's a politician, and he's a professional basketball player. I'm thinking, I'm not going to be the guy to tell him he can't hit.
1-2 to Hunter Pence. And the curve low and in from Mike Fiers. Pence is fouled out to the catcher and singled. Had a 2-strike hit back in the Giants' 3-run rally in the 4th inning. He scored the second of those 3 runs. Giants ahead 3-0, last of the 6th. And he struck him out.
90 right above the hands.
Michael Morris knocked in the first 2 runs for the Giants with a booming double to the deep part of the yard in the 4th.
Since he's heated up, how many times have we seen him do this? It's just absolute perfect technique to backspin the opposite gap. And then it was the race of the year between Pablo Sandoval and Hunter Pence, and they both wound up scoring within 15 feet of each other.
So here's Morris. And that's a called strike on the outside. 3 runs, 7 hits for the Giants. No runs, no hits for the Brewers. Jake Peavy will go into the 7th, still not having allowed a hit. Center field, and Gomez. That is not a catch. Morris is safe at first. He did not drop it, making the exchange. That was the ruling by Quinn Wolcott, the second base umpire. Here comes Ron Renicky out.
Well, I mean, he pockets the baseball, and as he's running in, for whatever reason, he tries to make a quick exchange. He didn't need to. There's nobody on base here. Pocket, and now he tries to exchange it, and that's when he bobbled it. You're very interested to see how this goes.
You're supposed to reach into the glove and take the ball out.
Supposed to. But I think what Renicky is arguing is that he did have possession. Because he did. Boom, he's got it. And then on the exchange, that's when it gets sloppy. No doubt he's got it. But why do you need to make the exchange on the run?
Well, they are going to go have a look at the video review. Go to the command center in New York City and Manhattan and let the umpires there have a look. This kind of a play earlier in the season was almost like we had a whole new rule about what a catch was. And there was no question that ball would have been ruled no catch. And then they amended that. And here's the rule 2.0. No requirement that the fielder successfully remove the ball from his glove in order for it to be ruled a catch. If the fielder drops the ball while attempting to remove it to make a throw, the umpire should rule that the ball has been caught, provided the fielder had secured it in his glove before attempting the transfer. Well, they looked at it for just, what, about 10 seconds and ruled that it was a catch.
Well, I think it's the right call. But he was not attempting to make a throw. So if you're going to go strictly by the rule book, there's a little gray area in there. Ball hit right on the nose, though. Another good at bat from Morse. But there's no doubt it's a catch.
Well, Michael Morse Thought he'd reached on. It still would have been an error. It wouldn't have helped his batting average. And he's getting, I think, Dave Righetti, who might have seen the replay, explaining to him maybe why the call was overturned. Gregor Blanco, who has flied out to shallow left and to deep center. 0 for 2. He's been hitting the long ball lately. 2-0. Facing Fiers with 2 down here in the 6th. Dodgers and Padres are now in the 8th inning in San Diego. 1-1 the score down there. Talking to Will Clark about it. Morse the last 2 times up there has really clobbered the ball.
Yeah, he's got a nice swing going right now. And you notice where all of his stuff is going. It's all going between the gaps, right center to left center. That ball was right back up the middle.
3-0. Brandon Crawford is on deck. Angels lead the Athletics 2-0 down in Anaheim. Top of the 6th inning there. The Angels have won the first 2 games of that series. Very close, tight games. And that's ball 4. Blanco reaches with 2 down.
Giants baseball is brought to you in part by your Barracuda Networks, cloud-connected security and storage solutions designed to simplify IT. Reclaim your network with Barracuda.
Here's a look at the Garden out in center field. Mike Fiers. Giants got 3 in the 4th inning against him. The 3rd one was knocked in by this man, Brandon Crawford, who got a big single to knock in the run, and they later stole second. So he's 1 for 2 in the game. And we'll see if Blanco tries to steal a bag here. The pitcher is up next, and already are 2 down. Of course, if he did steal second, then probably they just go ahead and walk Crawford and face Peavy instead.
That's exactly right. Down 3-0. It'd be automatic from the Brewers' perspective.
Well, Blanco gets up and takes off. And we'll stop at second base as Jeanette picks it up.
Well, you're going to find out exactly what the Brewers are going to do now with an open first base. And I think it's going to take the bat right out of Brandon Crawford's hands. I've seen this play where if an 8th place hitter's hot, ball thrown away like that, the guy doesn't advance, stays at first, just so the guy who's hitting 8th and is hot gets pitched to. That's especially something you consider if you've got a pitcher that can't hit very well.
Jake Peavy has struck out twice in this game and has not had a hit for the Giants this year. 0 for 15 with 10 strikeouts. So Lucroy now signals for the intentional walk to Brandon Crawford.
No, I mean, Ron Renick's already seen Brandon Crawford knock in a run back in the 4th inning when the Giants scored their 3.
Crawford came up with 1 out in that scenario. Ball 3.
Boy, be ready. That thing was working its way back into home plate. And Crawford is.
That's the walk.
And then at bat that Crawford had the 4th inning, 3 consecutive changeups, and on the 3rd one, he reached out, a little slide in his lower body, but the hand stayed back and cashed in. Nice at bat. So here's where Jake Peavy can help himself out.
Blanco at second, Crawford at first, 2 down, 6th inning. He missed that one by quite a bit.
I'd say a yard.
0-1.
I believe you'll see then a curveball or 2 in this at bat.
Well, another curveball indeed. 0-2. That seemed to be working well against Jake Peavy. Peavy, before this year, actually hit fairly well. He was a 173 lifetime hitter. 1-2. Peavy, he's had 2 home runs in his career.
You watch his batting practice, it's good. He's a threat. But that's a tough curveball for anybody. Plus, a guy who doesn't take a lot of at-bats, it's not an easy assignment.
Well, he hits that curveball, but it goes foul.
We have contact.
Crowd got excited by that. Okay, he could do it.
Contact, come on. Starts with contact.
Blanco, number 7, there at second base. Crawford at first. Ready to run on contact here with 2 down. Strike 3 called at the knees. On to the 7th. Braun, Ramirez, and Jeanette. Peavy with a no-hitter going. Brought to you by the X1 Entertainment Operating System, only from Xfinity, bringing TV and internet together like never before. Hunter Strickland, a name to remember, coming up through the Giants farm system. 38 games with Richmond in Double-A. He's 11 for 11 in save chances, 35 and 2/3 innings pitched, only 25 hits and 4 walks allowed, a .81 WHIP. He's also had 48 strikeouts. They talk about that strikeout to walk ratio. 48 strikeouts, 4 walks.
He throws hard. He throws mid to high 90s with a good hard slider. Chance to look at him in the video room. He's a big guy, 6'4", 225. Anxious to see him throw.
Strike 1. Ryan Braun, the veteran Brewers slugger, who has struck out and grounded out to first in this game. Travis Ishikawa now at first base for the Giants. A defensive change. Giants ahead 3-0. Aramis Ramirez on deck. Off the inside. That was pitch number 86 thrown by Jake Peavy. He did walk a couple in the 6th inning.
Well, he hasn't given in to him at all. And that really is what those 2 walks are about.
And Braun, who swung at some of those tonight, took that one. Off the outside. 2-1. He took that one. 3-1.
Well, leadoff walk. He got away with one in the 4th inning. It's just something you don't want to do when you've got a 3-run lead.
3-1 the count to Ryan Braun. Center field, Pagan. One away for the second time as a Giant, and the second time in his career. He has gone 6 1/3 innings without allowing a hit. The other one was in New York, and in that one he had a perfect game going into the 7th inning against the Mets. In that game, it was a scoreless game. And Ramirez, that will be a foul ball out of play off the first base side. Ramirez has struck out, and he was robbed. A spectacular play made by Brandon Crawford, who amazingly threw out Ramirez when it looked like Ramirez was going to have an infield hit. 0-1 the count. 0-2. Peavy and Ramirez, they've seen a lot of each other over the years. Ramirez has had 30 at bats against him in regular season play, only 7 hits. Fastball is high.
Good pitch. Cleanse the palate of the eye. Most of what Ramirez has seen tonight has been down around the knees. All of a sudden you heat up around the shoulders. He's got a history of swinging at that pitch too. That was well placed.
And that hit him.
So trying to go back on the inside part of the plate above the hands. And the problem with Peavy is the movement on his fastball. When he drops down to a low 3/4 release, it will heat seek right into a right-handed hitter. And that's what this does. There's no place for Ramirez to go. That ball just bored in on him. So another free 90-foot increment from Peavy here.
I don't see where it hit him.
I think it grazed his forearm. They're looking at it. They want to be convinced of it too.
Oh, I see. Just after it passes the hands, on the right forearm. Okay. I kept looking at the hands like. But it got him, and here is Jeanette. And Sean Dunston in the Giants video room, apparently, saw the same thing, which he relayed to Ron Wotus, the Giants bench coach. Strike one to Scooter Jeanette. Well, that one, he was trying to put Aramis Ramirez away. He had 2 strikes on him.
That's so frustrating for a pitcher, especially a guy who's got it going tonight like Peavy's got it going.
A ball and a strike.
He jumps out and gets ahead 0-1 on you. He's going to nibble. He's going to try and take advantage of you being aggressive in that batter's box, of you going out of the strike zone and chasing his location. And right now he's pitching for a ground ball to get 2 outs.
Jeanette has hit a ball back to Peavy, a ground ball to Jake, and he's also flied out to right center. He's 0 for 2. Off the outside.
So there's the 2 nibbles, and now he's got to get up and get in that strike zone. But again, it's the beauty of the 3-0 lead. You shouldn't be afraid to challenge here.
At power hitters on deck, Chris Davis. And Machi takes off the jacket. Looks like he'll be heading down to the bullpen shortly. 2-1. He fooled him on that one.
It's one of the best changeups he saw tonight. Absolutely convinced Jeanette that that's a fastball coming, and he's a tough guy to fool, and he's got a very compact swing. And you could throw another one, he'd chase it down below the strike zone.
2-2 the count. Did throw him another one. This time he did not swing. 3-2.
Just a little inside. Problem is what's happening with Peavy right now is the pitch count starting to work against him. And this is the biggest pitch in the game right now for Peavy.
Full count. Ramirez at first, 1 out in the 7th inning. The Giants ahead 3-0. Crowd is very quiet, almost like the crowd is feeling the tension here. Up the middle, Crawford. There's 1. There's 2. Wow! And that's 7 no-hit innings in the books for Jake Peavy. Brandon Crawford with his second spectacular play of the night.
Does not get any better than this. And no time for exchange. A glove flip to Panik, who completes the pair. It had to be perfect to get Jeanette. That is brilliance.
7 no-hit innings for Jake Peavy.
%2 back in fan rewards on every purchase, including Giants tickets. Plus, with all-in pricing, there are no surprise fees at checkout. StubHub, your ticket to upgrades and more.
We've had some excitement so far here tonight at AT Park. Mike Fiers gave up 3 in the 4th. The Giants have held that 3-0 lead ever since. And Pagan takes a called strike. Pagan is 1 for 3. The Brewers, who have not had a hit, this is the deepest into a game Jake Peavy's ever gone with a no-hitter now. 7 innings, no hits allowed, but twice Brandon Crawford has robbed somebody of a hit. That's for sure.
2 of the best plays we've seen all year long, and both at the defensive brilliance of Brandon Crawford. I mean, there's no other way to describe it. What we've seen tonight from him with the glove is just exceptional.
Out of play off to the left.
You know, and you look at the pitch count where he's up around 100 now, and you're saying, well, is he tired? You get plays behind you made like that, it fills your gas tank up. It will absolutely electrify a guy. And he's 33. I mean, that's not old by a lot of standards in pitching. It's prime time, actually.
1 away as Jeanette throws out Pagan.
Well, we got to watch this one more time, and I could watch this all night long. I mean, this is a base hit, pure and simple. Remember, Jeanette runs well, a one-hop seed, just a glove shovel right to Panik, who completes the deuce. And it was great to see the reaction from Travis Ishikawa, who's over at first base, on the back end. He came out the bag screaming. I mean, they're having fun right now, folks. Peavy. you think guys like playing behind this guy? That's great stuff.
Here's Joe Panic. He was the man in the middle on that double play. And the foul ball. It's 0-1.
I mean, there's some high fives right there. Those guys are meaning it. They mean those high fives. Flannery, an old infielder, fired up.
A ball and a strike. Fires at 103 pitches for the game. Crawford also made a play on Aramis Ramirez back in the 5th inning that just didn't seem possible. He went the opposite direction to get a ground ball and then make a spectacular throw. 1-2 to Panic. So that's twice, once in the 5th, once in the 7th, that Brandon Crawford has robbed a Brewer of a base hit.
The beauty of that flip is that, you know, when Panic got the ball, his back was completely to the base runner. But it got to him so quickly, he had plenty of time to get himself clear and get off a throw.
Two and two the count to Joe Panic, hitting .313 for the year. Brandon Crawford, who also knocked in the Giants' 3rd run of the night with a big single back in the 4th, with the pitcher coming up next. Been a big night for Brandon Crawford. Buster Posey is on deck. One out here in the 7th. With a curve, and he fought it off. Still 2-2. Brewers have had some action in their bullpen going.
One more look from high 3rd. There's the flipper talking about.
And that was the only way possible for him to get the double play. Jeanette runs well.
That was it. He tries to exchange glove hand to bare hand. They lose it.
Strike 3 called. Panic is gone. 2 down. There's a new morning newscast in town. Telemundo 48 Primera Edición, the Bay Area's only Spanish language morning news with live news, weather, and traffic. So tell your friends and watch Telemundo 48 Primera Edición weekdays from 5 till 7 a.m. 5 a las 7. Here is Buster Posey. Here's a news item. Buster has not had a hit tonight. Had 5 in last night's game. Two down, nobody on. And it's 2-0 to Buster. The Brewers get more action going in their bullpen. A left-hander, Zach Duke, has joined the right-hander, Jeremy Jeffress, down there. Lee Tunnell, the bullpen coach, down there with the 2 relievers. Ramirez almost caught him more than he caught it, and the inning is over. Buster is 0 for 4. Jake Peavy, 7 no-hit innings. Chris Davis, a power hitter, to lead off for the Brewers in the 8th. Don't go anywhere. Call your friends.
p.m. at Comcast Sportsnet, authentic Bay Area sports. Oh, yeah.
The Giants are leading this game 3-0. But the totals, the Giants with 3 runs, 7 hits. The Brewers, no runs and no hits. Jake Peavy, for the first time in his career, carrying a no-hitter into the 8th inning of a game. He's thrown as many as 117 pitches. That was back on June 19th at Oakland. A foul tip by the powerful Chris Davis. June 19th, that's when Jake Peavy was still with the Boston Red Sox. He's at 100 pitches in this game. Giants bullpen will be ready if needed. A ball and a strike. The right-hander Sergio Romo, the left-hander Jeremy Affeldt warming up in the bullpen. Davis has flied out deep to center. He's probably had the best swings of the night against Peavy. That is back out of play off to the right.
Well, if he has any chance of completing this game, he needs a quick 1-2-3 inning here.
Two and two. On Tuesday, it was Madison Bumgarner right here at AT&T Park who flirted not only with a no-hitter, but he carried a perfect game into the 8th inning. Justin Morneau hit a double. And that was the only base runner that Bumgarner allowed in that one. This is going to be a tough play. A long throw for Pablo. Here it is. He got it.
Wow.
What a way.
This has been a clinic in defense tonight. But what we have seen from the left side of this Giants infield tonight is exceptional. And again, has to go back, high backhand, the toughest backhand, sets himself, and then it's all arm. Because Davis runs well. He's got to back up to get rhythm with the play, plant quickly, and unload. And in the end, it's not close. Beautiful play.
Pablo Sandoval, who's been Gold Glove caliber here in 2014, never more so than on that play. Now Reynolds pops a foul right back into the second deck right beneath us. Strike one. Another power hitter, 21 homers for the year. Tonight he has struck out and flied out to shallow center. One out, nobody on here in the 8th inning. A ball and a strike. Reynolds, who's had a lot of trials and tribulations when facing Peavy, only 3 hits in 23 career at bats. You see how the Giants have swung way over toward the third base line on the infield, playing into pull. The outfield, though, straight away. Outside corner, strike 2 call.
Perfect location there. Now you can go out about a minute, 5 or 6 inches out wider, and he'll chase. Figured he's got to cover that location.
And that's a clean single to right. He just kind of lobbed it out there, muscled it over the infield. And with 1 out of the 8th inning, the Brewers get their first hit against Jake Peavy. And this crowd offering a standing ovation for this sensational performance by the veteran right-hander Jake Peavy.
Yeah, he shook off a couple of breaking ball requests from Posey. If you don't think it's a great place to play here, this type of reward for an effort of 7 1/3 no-hit innings is something he won't ever forget.
Now, Gerardo Parra had been out on deck as a possible pinch hitter for Segura, but now after the hit, Segura is going to bat for himself. Segura has struck out and walked in this game. Chris Davis thrown out on a spectacular play by Pablo Sandoval, and then Mark Reynolds, who blooped one into right field for the first hit of the night for Milwaukee. That's out of play off the right field line. The Brewers, by the way, 4th in the league in team batting average and 3rd in the league in home runs hit and 2nd in the league in runs scored. So this has been one of the best offensive ball clubs in the National League. Back to the bag is Reynolds.
That's no exaggeration. I mean, they've been very consistent putting up offense, and not just at home either in their ballpark, which is an offensive ballpark. They spread it out on the road as well.
That's a strike, and it's 0-2 to Segura. The pitcher's spot due up next for Milwaukee. And the Brewers have Lyle Overbay, the veteran left-handed hitter, in the on-deck circle. Giants leading 3-0. We're in the 8th inning. Peavy sets, throws, just got a piece of it. 0-2. Meanwhile, the Dodgers and the Padres are in the last of the 9th inning in San Diego. It's a 1-1 game down there. Padres batting in the 9th. J.P. Howell pitching for L.A. on the out-of-town scoreboard. 0-2 to Segura. Back to the screen.
He was on that one. A little bit too much strike zone in that 0-2 situation. Pitch count definitely starting to work against Beebe.
He got the double play ball, albeit an amazing play by Crawford to end the 7th inning. And there is strike 3. He got him to chase. Eighth strikeout for Peavy, and his first since the 4th inning. Now Overbay will come up as the pinch hitter for the pitcher Mike Fiers. And here comes Bruce Bochy. He's got the left-hander half filled up in the bullpen. And he has made the signal.
Talking to his shortstop, his third baseman, his catcher, telling him thank you.
One of Jake Peavy's best nights of a brilliant career. We'll be right back. Took a perfect game into the 7th inning when the Giants were in New York back on August the 2nd. That was the deepest that he had ever gone into a game with a no-hitter. And tonight he goes 1 out into the 8th inning and gives up a bloop single to Mark Reynolds and then strikes out Segura, the next hitter. And now he departs. He'd thrown 113 pitches. And the Brewers, who had brought up Lyle Overbay, the left-handed hitter, as a pinch hitter for Fiers, now with the left-hander out in the game, bring up the veteran right-handed hitter Ricky Weeks instead.
See the numbers for Affeldt. 53rd time he's come in. Got a good hard sinker, low 90s, big curveball in the split. That sinker has movement that runs away from a right-handed hitter. He gets a lot of ground balls from right-handers.
Ball 1. Saturday night when we went to commercial, the fans were chanting PV, PV, PV. And that's sort of a new chant here at AT&T Park. And for years we would hear Barry, Barry. That's a base hit to center field for Ricky Weeks. Reynolds stops at second. And now the Brewers have 2 men on, and Carlos Gomez, a powerful right-handed hitter, coming up, and Gomez will be the possible tying run, and Bochy's going to bring in Romo to face him. And he'll match up the right-hander with the right-handed hitter. Trying to hang on to it here for Jake Peavy. We'll be back. Game live before the finale of this series. Bumgarner on the mound for the Giants against Kyle Loesch. We'll be back with you on NBC Bay Area and the Giants Television Network Friday night, September the 12th at 7 for the Giants and the Dodgers from right here at AT&T Park. Sergio Romo in a tight spot. Carlos Gomez with 2 men on and 2 men out. It didn't look like that was where he intended the slider to go, but it worked. Strike 1.
Now it goes on the front side of that inside corner. They set the target on the other side of the plate. See what he has done or what he hasn't done against Romo. 0 for 6 with 5 strikeouts.
Sort of an easy call for Bruce Bochy to make in this spot with that kind of track record. 0-2.
Now there's no hang in that one. That was a good one. That's as good as he's got right there.
Brewers with a runner at second for only the second time tonight. And they have the possible tying run at the plate. But Romo ahead of the count, 0-2. Reynolds at second, Weeks at first. 2 down. Struck him out. The inning is over. Pablo Sandoval coming up, and then Hunter Pence. Jake Peavy's masterpiece. The Giants are still on top.
Inning elbow surgery back on August 11th. He's been working out a lot with the team. He's working on extension and range of motion with that elbow. He's also able to do all of his cardio, keep his core and his shoulders strong. He had 5 points of entry, gentlemen, and the elbow is still noticeably swollen, but Kane has a lot to offer off the field as well. He said he's been spending a lot of time talking with the younger guys, in particular Susak and Panic, and said he's been very impressed with what they've been able to do. Guys?
All right, Amy, thank you. And quite a night here with a lot of people impressed with a lot of things in regards to the Giants. Jake Peavy with his sensational night, not allowing a hit until there was one out in the 8th inning. And a couple of tremendous defensive plays by Brandon Crawford behind him to preserve the no-hitter. Pablo Sandoval just before the hit also made a great play from deep behind the third base bag, almost to the outfield grass, throwing out Chris Davis. Now it is Jeremy Jeffress, 26-year-old right-hander, in for the bullpen, and a called strike. He's a very hard thrower. The Giants saw him in Milwaukee, and he's up in the upper 90s when he's rearing back.
Well, you're not going to go up there looking for a curveball, and he just stole strike one. Sandoval looking for that gas you're talking about.
In the dirt. 97 miles an hour on the stadium radar gun with that one.
He's a little spooky too, because he's got a little sling to his delivery, and those guys don't always know where it's going, and when you're throwing the high 90s, that could be an issue.
Pablo's had 2 hits tonight and has scored a run. And another 97 mile an hour fastball, and he slashes it into the second deck on the left field side.
Here's the play that Pablo made that was absolutely nails. He had to go high to a backhand, back up for it, then plant quickly and get off a throw. Just defense has been outstanding tonight behind Peavy. Really, for both teams, they played defensively well.
He hit that ball into fair ground and is thrown out by.
I think that ball bounced. I think he hit that off of one hop. Now let's see how close it was to the ground. I think bounced. It's close.
Look where the catcher goes.
No, about 3 inches off the ground, right off the end of the bat. I got my pitch.
In about 6 cricket playing countries, we're going to be calling his agent.
He'd be a find.
One away, and here is Hunter Pence.
Again, first pitch breaking ball from Jeffress.
Pence singled in that 3-run 4th-inning rally. He scored the second of the 3 runs. Mike Fiers went 7, 3 runs, 7 hits allowed with 9 strikeouts. Now Jeffress, who originally was drafted by the Brewers in the first round of the 06 draft, later traded to Kansas City. That was the deal where the Brewers acquired Zach Greinke before the 2011 season. And he was traded to the Blue Jays before last season. Jeremy Jeffress from Virginia.
Not a big guy, 6'1", 205-pounder, but long-armed. And like I say, he's got a little sling to his delivery. Not a real consistent release point.
3-1. The part I don't understand, this guy's throwing 97 miles an hour. He started the season with the Toronto Blue Jays and then was designated for assignment on April the 5th, 5 or 6 days into the season. And the Brewers ended up signing him when he became a free agent. Strike 2, and Pence thought maybe a little bit outside.
Well, a little bit low at 98. It's certainly not a pitch you can hit. Sort of wraps around the outside corner. I don't think that's a strike. Doesn't matter.
The wind is blowing out. Struck him out. Again, 97 miles an hour with that one. 2 down. Travis Ishikawa now. Giants ahead 3-0. The Brewers will have all the big hitters lined up. And apparently, it'll be Romo, at least to start the inning. They've got 3 right-handed sluggers in a row. Lucroy, Braun, and Ramirez scheduled up. First at bat for Ishikawa. Ball 1. He came on as a defensive replacement for Michael Morse in the first half of the 7th inning. Michael Morse, who knocked in the first 2 Giants runs with a long double to deep right center back in the 4th inning. And it's 2-0 to Ishikawa. Travis started the year with the Brewers. Was cut loose, and eventually the Giants signed him to a minor league contract. He went to Fresno. Since his arrival here in the big leagues with the Giants, he's been their best pinch hitter. Back to the screen, and he's also done well in some spot starts. He's hitting .290 for the Giants, 4 for 12 as a pinch hitter.
Well, he gives you a good at bat. He's smart. I mean, for the most part, he's been around enough to where he knows most of the guys he's taking at bats against, and that's a huge advantage, which is why you want a veteran in that pinch hit role. Puts the ball over the field.
Knock out of play.
So he has an approach if he identifies how a team or a pitcher is working him. And here he knows that the Brewers are going to stay away. And he's kind of geared his at bat towards the left side of the field.
2 down, nobody on. 2 balls, 2 strikes to count. Gregor Blanco is on deck. Off the inside. Full count, 3-2. 3-0 Giants here in the 8th. And the Brewers with all of their best hitters lined up, ready to go in the 9th. It hit Jeffress, and that's a base hit for Ishikawa. And how is Jeffress? Lucroy goes out, and Jeffress said, "I'm fine."
Well, he may say he's fine, but I'm guaranteeing that hurt. and it's going to feel a little bit worse as he leaves his ballpark. That was direct. Ooh. Down to the right calf or in the heel. I mean, that ball was squared up.
So that's his the right foot. That's his push-off foot. Gregor Blanco 0 for 2 with a walk. Called a strike at 97 miles an hour.
With movement. I mean, it's not a straight 97 either because of that low three-quarter sling. I mean, that thing's got a little funk to it. It's movement that runs away from a lefty into a right-handed hitter.
On 2.
And that was a changeup. And a pretty good one. I mean, you're seeing 97 with movement. Then he comes back, same arm action. He drops a changeup on the outside corner at you at 89. I mean, that's a pretty good two-pitch sequence there.
Ishikawa, the runner at first. Mark Reynolds on the bag with him. 2 down, last of the 8. There goes Ishikawa, and a bloop. That's going to fall in. Base hit. Blanco's first hit of the game, and now Brandon Crawford will get another shot. And just now, Santiago Casilla heads down to the Giants bullpen.
Wow, the way he's heading down there right now, I don't think he's going to start the 9th inning.
Crawford made this play in the 5th inning with Aramis Ramirez batting.
Way to his right, off balance throw off the right foot, completely over the top, and a strike to Morris to get it. And this is the double play of the month right here. Oh, Joe Panic with a little magic. Not enough time for a glove hand, bare hand exchange. He flips it, and they get the job done with the speedy Jeanette on the backside.
That ended the 7th inning. Toward the middle, Jeanette. Everybody's safe, and the bases are loaded. Second base hit of the game for Crawford, who earlier had an RBI single in the 4th inning. And now Matt Duffy will pinch hit for Romo. And I guess that's the idea. Romo was going to start the 9th inning, but now with a chance to lengthen their lead, they pinch hit for Romo. So the rookie Matt Duffy, 8 hits, 36 at bats in the big leagues this year. He was hitting .332 in the minor leagues when they brought him up. And that's low.
And the first pitch breaking ball from Jeffers.
Ball on a strike, 97 miles an hour.
You're not going to do much of that pitch. You guys saw on 97, wrap it around the outside corner at the knees. Tip your cap. Hope he doesn't throw it with 2-strike count. One thing we've noticed about Matt Duffy is he's got a very quick stroke. He likes the middle of the field.
Aramis Ramirez right at the bag, gets the force out on Blanco, and the inning is over. Casilla for the 9th, and the big hitters Lucroy, Braun, and Ramirez coming up. Top hat night here at AT Park. 41,397, the 316th consecutive sellout at AT Park, and the Giants leading the game. Starting pitcher Jake Peavy flirted with a no-hitter into the 8th inning with 1 out of the 8. Mark Reynolds blooped a single to right. The only hit Peavy allowed in 7 2/3 innings pitched. Now Casilla comes on, and they'll have to run the gauntlet. The Brewers' top hitters are coming up: Lucroy, Braun, and Ramirez. Ball 1. Lucroy, a hitless game so far, and he doesn't have many of those. He's grounded to first, struck out, and hit into a force play. 0 for 3. All of that against Peavy. Ishikawa at first, Panic at second, Crawford at short, Pablo at third, and Pence at right on the run. He can't handle it. And Lucroy will go into second.
Well, we've seen him use that side of the field so well in these first 2 games. That would have been an exceptional play. A lot of distraction going on down there in the corner of the field. Hits him just really, I don't know if he even got on the glove. It may have hit him just right in the wrist. Heel of the glove or the wrist. Yep, low in the heel. So that's a double all the way. Just like that, Brewers had the leadoff hitter in score position.
If we get one more base runner, they'll have the possible tying run at the plate. Here is Ryan Braun. 3 runs, 10 hits for the Giants. No runs, 3 hits for the Brewers.
Well, in Casilla's mind, I mean, that runner at second does not exist. He's got a 3-run lead. All of his concentration should go right to Braun right here.
On 1. Beautiful pitch. Knee high, right in the outside. Braun is 0 for 3. Is struck out, grounded out to first, and flied out to center. Off the inside. A ball and a strike. Peavy went 7 2/3, no runs, 1 hit with 8 strikeouts. Affeld faced 1 hitter, gave up a hit. Romo faced 1 hitter, struck him out. And now Casilla here in the 9th. Aramis Ramirez on deck. Up the middle, that's a base hit. And Lucroy is going to come in to score. It's 3-1, and Ramirez will come up as the possible tying run.
It didn't take long for the Brewers to make some noise. So now that changes everything, because now you have to be aware of Braun. You got to check the runner, and then you still have to concentrate on a guy who's a great RBI guy, and that's Ramirez. Here's a nice controlled bat head right back up the middle.
And Machi will start to throw in the Giants bullpen now. Ball 1. Ramirez has struck out. He was victimized on a sensational Brandon Crawford play in the 5th inning, and then he was hit by a pitch in the 7th. And that set up the incredible Brandon Crawford double play, the one that he started. Pablo. No! He did get the out. Panic somehow kept his foot in the bag.
Oh, another great snag from Sandoval, who's slow to get to his feet.
And the Brewers may appeal this play.
Well, they got nothing to lose. It's up the game. Why not? Just a beautiful play, and in an off-balance position from the knee, an underhand sling that goes to the right of Panic, and there he just does come back and hit it with his toe. So they're going to look at it, but they're not going to look long. That's clear cut. He did touch the base while in possession of the ball.
It was Quinn Wolcott, the second base umpire, with the call. So he and the crew chief, Dale Scott, get on the headsets with the command center in New York. The umpires there having a look at this and the other angles.
Absolutely takes away extra a base hit in the first and third situation.
And they've already upheld the play. They literally put on those headsets for about 5 seconds.
So whoever is in New York tonight has got the quick trigger finger. I'd like to see that.
The official time, 19 seconds. But from the time they put the headsets on, it was just a handful of seconds. So that is the first out of the inning. Here is Scooter Gennett. Ramirez, the runner at first. Into center field. Pagan, plenty of room out there. 2 down. But another Brewers slugger coming up now as the possible tying run, who is well capable of launching one. Chris Davis, who's hit 2 deep fly balls to center already in this game. Buster Posey at the mound talking to Casilla. Man, we have seen some plays tonight, but you'd be hard pressed to say any of them were any better than the play that Panic just made. Just not only catching that throw, but being able to kick the bag as well.
Yeah, just to have the presence of mind to know where the bag was, to come back with your right foot and just toe tap it.
That ball was on its way to right field. Everybody standing here at AT&T Park. 2 down, 9th inning. 3-1 Giants. Ball 1 at 95 miles an hour.
It's big and deep now. That's good velocity.
Now they have only faced each other one other time in a big league game, and Chris Davis hit a home run. And he tried to hit one there.
Oh, he's swinging for it. Are you kidding? He's got 20 on the year. You know he's trying to tie this bad boy up.
Davis homered against Casilla as a pinch hitter, or in the 9th inning of the game back on August 6th in Milwaukee. The Giants had a 7-3 lead at the time. The foul ball, strike 2. With 2 down in the 9th inning and 2 strikes, Casilla tries to wrap this one up for the Giants' 5th consecutive win. Ramirez, the runner at first, and here we go. Did he swing? No. Adam Hamari, first base umpire on the appeal.
Close. Hamari has really not had much of a trigger finger tonight. There's been a lot of very close calls, and he definitely could have run him up right there.
2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 down. Mark Reynolds on deck.
Ooh, that was a hanger. And once again, Buster Posey gets dinged. It's been that kind of night. That's 4 dings that Posey has gotten tonight. I mean, after the game, he's going to figure out, well, where am I going to put the ice bag first?
Michael Morris getting a good view right next to Bruce Bochy in the dugout. 2-2, and it hit him. And now the possible tying runs are on base. And Dave Righetti's going to go out. Perhaps to calm his right-hander as much as anything else. What do you think?
Well, yeah, get him a focus back, no doubt about that. He's going to talk about a little 3-pitch plan here. And this is where Righetti's very good. I mean, he really knows his personnel. And with Casilla, it's all about pumping him up right here. And he'll convince him that he's the baddest man on the mountain. By the time he heads back to that dugout, Casilla will believe it. And plus, he'll say, hey, listen, this is the guy here that you get out this way. And give him a little bit of an idea.
Jake Peavy had the no-hitter going with 1 out of the 8th inning, and Reynolds up there, and this little lob into right field broke up the no-hitter. And now Reynolds with much more significant mayhem in mind right here, trying to get those 2 runners home. Ramirez at second, and Chris Davis, the possible tying run, at first. 3-1 Giants.
Ooh. And again, a guy who has made a career out of being outhouse or castle. He's either strikes out or he hits it out of the ballpark. Just let the first one fly.
He's hit 21 home runs this year. 2 on, 2 out. Right to Pablo. But the Giants have won it. And it wasn't easy. The Brewers had their best hitters up there, and Casilla had to run the gauntlet of the best the Brewers had to offer, and he gets through it. Well, the Brewers had the possible tying runs on base when the game finally came to an end. The Giants win it 3-1, and they get the win for Jake Peavy, who pitches another beauty for the Giants. His earned run average as a Giant in 7 starts is now 2.66.
Well, he was fantastic, and he had a good night to pitch. The defense behind him was absolutely spectacular, and that was the difference in this game.
Jake Peavy with the win. The Giants have won 5 in a row.